Hello! Welcome to another episode of Somewhere Between a film and TV podcast. We're your hosts. I am Daniel Parra.
And I'm Erwin.
And this is a big movie that we're reviewing, so if you happen to find us through the algorithm or whatever and you've never listened to us before, number one, thank you so much for listening and watching. Erwin, what are they going to do?
They're going to like, comment, and subscribe.
And
I'm ready to spoil this movie.
I am too. So to clarify, everything we review does have full spoilers, and I would not dream of ruining anything for you if you have not seen this movie yet. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I feel like you do.
So yeah, I'm not going to lie.
So Erwin,
yes,
what we like to do here,
spoil things.
Spoil things, because we don't know how to review things spoiler-free. We're bad at it. But imagine you got out of a movie with your friends. You'll walk outside.
And there's a sign that says no spoiler zone.
Okay, not in the lobby, but you'll in the parking lot, you'll like... Actually, that'd suck if it was busy and then you ruined it too. Okay, let's say you go back to your house. and you'll want to talk about it. You'll get a little bit off topic, but eventually you'll circle back around. That's what we like to do here. And Erwin, we're reviewing Deadpool and Wolverine. There's really no explanation that needs to be done here for the MCU or for what this movie's about, but let's go ahead and do it anyway. What is this movie about?
Wait, I'm gonna look up the actual...
What, the description?
Yeah. Wolverine is recovering from his injuries when he crosses paths with the loudmouth Deadpool. They team up to defeat a common enemy.
I feel like first part isn't true at all. But, they mean injuries, but like through mental state.
Yeah.
We have a lot to cover here. It's going to be scattershot, but let's try our best.
This movie's a comedy?
Yes, very much so.
Oh, yeah. I did laugh. I did laugh once, yes.
Like that one guy next to us that was like, ha!
I love the fact that you pointed out, like, that guy is going to make everyone laugh.
No, because, there's always someone in the movies that, like, it's a comedy. I remember that person when we saw Baywatch, which was terrible, that, like, was having the time of their life. So I'm glad someone out there liked that movie.
True.
But, Erwin.
Yes.
In the MCU... do you feel like they've been in a bit of a rut lately?
No. I mean, some movies have been up and down. Yeah. But no, like at the end of the day, no. I just think some people just forget certain movies that came out.
In this movie alone, someone offhandedly says, like in the movie, they say, I think that they've been consistent since Endgame.
That was so funny. I mean, it was alright.
Whoever wrote this was very in tune with
They remind me of the She-Hulk writers.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder... Actually, no. Someone is a She-Hulk writer.
Really?
I'm very certain of it. But within the context of this, what are your thoughts on the MCU? Because believe it or not, we have reviewed Marvel stuff on our Spotify version of the show. If you want to go back and check out our thoughts on that, I highly recommend that you do, because we have a lot to say on the MCU, just generally speaking. But are you a fan of the MCU, superheroes, and the Fox X-Men universe? What do you think of each of these things?
Oh, damn, that's a lot. Yes, I'm a fan of every superhero movie.
Every superhero movie?
Oh,
really?
Interesting. How do I ruin him right now?
Tell me about how much you love Fantastic Four 2015.
Oh my god, dude. It's been so long, but the fact that I still remember certain scenes where I'm just like, I hated that so much.
Yeah.
I still quote the very end. I'm not gonna lie. It's like, say that again?
Dude, they did he's right behind me, isn't it?
Whenever we joked about it before the movie even started.
Yeah, because we were like, I feel like if anybody was gonna do this, it'd be this movie, and like they could get away with it. And I feel like the writers of this are definitely aware of that whole meme where I don't agree with the MCU humor thing that people say.
Oh,
where,
yes.
Like, it sounds like kids' jokes and stuff. Like, I gotta be honest, I don't think the Transformers 1 trailer is amazing, and it has a bunch of jokes like that in it.
Yes.
But within the context of this, I'm pretty sure the writers of this were like, I bet we could throw that in there, and it would be hilarious.
He's right behind me, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. But I love Marvel, and I loved certain Fox movies that they had with, or like certain X-Men movies that Fox had.
Would you say that every one of them you own, you love?
It's like, how do I set them up to fail? That's what I heard. What's your problem? No.
So you don't love X-Men Origins Wolverine?
No,
but it's right there.
Yes, it's
Wait,
right
that's
there.
Logan. But
No, this is Logan. Yeah, this is Origins Wolverine. No,
a picture of his face. No, so if you have a reverence for even the bad Fox movies, you will be very happy with this.
Very.
So if you're my dad and you love Elektra, you'll be super happy.
You're my dad, and then you'll love Blade.
Yeah, okay, but Blade's good. The first two Blades are amazing.
Yes.
And
I don't remember the third one at all.
The third one's awful, and we'll get to it and why I'm so surprised he's in this movie in the first place.
Yeah.
But going over this, though, I love the MCU. It has a very varied past. I will say I'm not above criticizing it. I think some of their stuff has issues, but I also don't think they've been on the downward streak that people have said that they've been on. What was the
last MCU movie?
The last MCU movie was The Marvels. It's been a while, and that was understandably... I think I liked that movie more than you did.
Yes, I thought it was okay.
And I liked it quite a bit.
The one before that was Guardians, right?
Guardians 3.
Yeah, and that one
which was incredible.
Great. Yeah.
But right before that, I don't even remember. Thor Love and Thunder, we reviewed way back when.
Oh.
I've since changed my opinion on it since we've reviewed it.
Yeah.
It's so scattershot in what it does. But Eternals, I think, is great. I think is underrated.
I love Eternals.
And I do too.
I need to see that movie again.
But I'm not above criticizing this. I don't like Secret Invasion. I think that, like, it was the first MCU thing I've ever actively been like...
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Damn. And because I told you I didn't even want to finish it because I couldn't really come to the face the facts that I'm like, I don't like this that much.
Yeah.
Because I remember it was that channel, Mr. Sunday Movies, they reviewed it and they were like, yeah, they did the whole thing where they made it serious and they made it like feel important. They forgot to make it interesting and good.
Yeah.
But nothing compares to the absolute scattershot quality of the Fox X-Men movies, though.
Dude, the timeline made zero sense, first off.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's what you said. Like, it just kept going up and down at one point, where it's like you just never know if you're going to get a great movie or just an okay movie.
Or a really bad one.
Yeah. Dude, oh my God, I forgot about Dark Phoenix. I was just
until they showed it in the credits, and I was like, they showed like 4 bad movies in a row. It was like Fant Four Stick, and then that.
Yeah.
And then, like,
Last Stand wasn't as bad as people say.
I don't think Last Stand is a bad movie.
No.
I think that it's an uneventful nothing movie because nothing happens in it.
Yeah.
I went back a couple years ago when I marathoned all of them with a friend who had never seen them before, Aaron, and he like kept asking me questions because I regret maybe telling him to watch the MCU, and then we did DC, and then we did X-Men. So that's kind of like
boom, boom, boom.
in terms of the quality deteriorating. But the thing about X-Men is when they're on fire, they're like some of the best superhero movies ever made.
Absolutely.
X-Men, X-Men 2, if they would have expanded on the Angel plot in X-Men 3, that could have been something really special.
Yeah. Days of Future Past.
Days of Future Past and First Class. And Logan is obviously, this movie has Wolverine. A reverence. The Wolverine, the director's cut, one of the most underrated superhero movies I've ever seen. I think it's actually incredible, and I wish more people would see it. I know that the third act people say gets too cartoony, but then you watch other superhero movies now, and you're kind of like, I mean...
It's always built up to something bigger, so...
But I think it's because it's doing Logan up until, like, in Japan.
Yeah.
Up until it's like, here's a big robot. And then I understand the tonal shift being confusing for people. But with the Deadpool movies, what do you think of them?
Dude, I still remember when they released like this very short scene of Deadpool.
The test scene
the
from
test
way
footage.
back when.
Yes, the test footage. I remember when they released that, I was like, this looks so much fun.
Yeah.
I can't and that was like their thing that I remember Ryan Reynolds was just pushing forward. Yeah. And then eventually when we got the movie itself, it was like this huge thing. It was like the #1 like R-rated movie that
ever, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
It was insane. Oh man!
But the quality of the first one. Do you like this movie? Do you love this movie?
Or are you somewhere between?
I'll ask you later on Deadpool and Wolverine.
I think I loved it for what I remember, but of course, like I feel like when that movie came out,
it was a big deal.
It was such a big deal that you've heard everything about it.
Also, we were the target audience because you know how old we were when that came out.
What?
That was the first year we could see R-rated movies in theaters. So we were like 17.
Oh.
And the sense of humor in these movies is very like 17-year-old, 18-year-old coded. And I mean, not gonna lie, we're 25-year-old like minded.
The humor is still there.
Yeah. Not every joke works. Even in this one, not every joke works.
Yeah.
But I would say that the hit rate is like, for every 10, there's like 1 or 2 misses.
Yes.
Yeah. Because even, like, there's nothing that, you know how bad comedies, it'll screech to a halt? Mm-hmm. That never happens. Like, if one thing is said, it just kind of like move on. Mm-hmm. And then our theater, people would like laugh so loud, I didn't even hear some of the stuff that was said immediately after. But Deadpool 2, are you a fan of that one?
Yes, I am. I don't know if I like it more than the first one. I think it's like almost on par.
Yeah.
Just because it's kind of the same, but with just different characters they added.
I think for me, Deadpool 2 is a better movie. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's because, I mean, it's very obvious they don't have a big budget increase.
Yes.
But they have a budget increase, and you can tell and you can feel that. The first one I think is very good, but is sort of, in retrospect, hampered down by that like limited amount of time. It's like an hour 44.
Yeah.
And there's a joke in the third act where he like forgets all his stuff. And that's obviously just like a budget cut joke.
Yeah.
But I mean, this movie though, I mean, I'm getting ahead of myself, but it does something I've always wanted these movies to do. He like sort of walks into the camera and then grabs the mic. That made me happy because I've always wanted them
and
to
he started smashing it.
I've always wanted them to make that joke in one of these movies. But I think that like even for the lesser X-Men movies, if you grew up with those, because I mean we did.
Yeah. Which one was your favorite one to watch all the time as a kid?
As a kid, this is very embarrassing.
Wait, are you gonna say Origins?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I was like, me too.
Dude, I saw that opening night. My dad took me. I was like, I am Wolverine. And then,
dude, it's just like the first 5 minutes montage. Like that montage alone. Like I just remember.
That's great.
Yes.
That's like actually a good section of that movie, and then it's immediately like tanked by the rest of it.
And also, I just love when Hugh Jackman screams.
Yeah, which he does
yells
a lot.
Yeah, so that's my favorite part, and they did that a lot.
They saved that for this one. He only does it a couple times, and it's more towards like the end because they want to do the whole like.
Dude, and also I'm sorry, like also the common tease of him wearing the suit or not.
Yeah.
The entirety of the franchise, it just kept teasing over and
because
over and over.
Bryan Singer, bad guy, was like, he just is. I love X-Men too, but that doesn't justify you being like a fucking weirdo.
Yes.
But I do want to say that they did have this weird thing where they kept avoiding the suits for so long, and I'm glad that. I think that the transition into bringing the X-Men into this universe, Deadpool's the way to do it. You can make any joke you want in terms of that, and you're eased into it because if audiences don't understand, they could just be like, I mean, they're here.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like a brilliant explanation, and it makes sense to use this character for that. I love the opening with, I mean, of all the cameos, I was like, Jon Favreau.
Dude, I was like, whoa.
Because he has like an actual legitimate scene in this.
Dude, just the amount of cameos in this movie was insane.
There were a ton, and I do want to get to them because that's going to be, it's like its whole own section. But enough stalling, Erwin.
Okay.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yes.
Did you love it? Did you hate it? Or are you somewhere between?
I hate it.
Okay. Why?
There wasn't enough cameos. I didn't get to see more was it X-Men Last Stand characters?
Oh yeah. As someone who loves Juggernaut.
Dude, when I saw Juggernaut, I was like, what the heck?
I thought it was no,
let's talk about the one cameo.
What, Henry Cavill?
I do love this movie. Okay, I was gonna go first. I love this movie.
Yeah.
No, the Henry Cavill one was so good.
Yeah.
Oh god, that one I was like, no.
No, from behind I was like, that man's gigantic.
Yeah, he's so big. Who is this?
No, but I was like, Hugh Jackman, huge jacked man, but like he's huge too.
Yeah.
But I was like, that guy looks like tall.
Yeah.
And
it's big.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, the different like variants of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. That was a great segment too.
That entire like sequence.
I don't know which one my favorite one was. Whenever it was like Hulk versus Wolverine.
Oh yeah.
Or just like Wolverine as like the comic accurate size. Yeah. That was so funny.
Because he was like 4 feet tall and he looked so funny. And I think that this movie, I love the opening where it's like, how are people going to like, are they going to question if we'll honor the Wolverine? And honestly, they do. Like Logan is not affected in any kind of way. I'm happy Daphne Keene's even in this actually.
Yeah.
And I feel like they introduced her to set her up to be in more stuff. Because I don't think that like they would just bring her in and then just dismiss her immediately.
Yeah, that's true.
But I also wonder if, since Blade is so going through it right now, production-wise, if they're just going to bring Wesley Snipes back, because...
dude, Wesley Snipes back as Blade looks as good as they did back in, like, the early 2000s.
No, and then he brings the full energy right away.
Yes, I just believed he was still Blade.
Like, I was happy to see Jennifer Garner, but I don't remember what her Elektra was like, and that movie was bad, so...
Yeah, I was shocked. Oh, Gambit, dude.
Yeah.
Channing Tatum as Gambit, I did not expect that whatsoever.
I'm also glad that they called out his accent, because I was like, what is he saying?
I was like, I don't understand what you're saying.
Yeah. The thing that I appreciated about this one more than the first two Deadpool movies is I think the first two got kind of caught in this idea that everybody had to be meta. I didn't really enjoy... I know that we talked about TJ Miller, another freak, by the way, that like...
all these freaks.
Yeah. But that he sort of had this ability to also be meta as well. Other people did. It's something that actually kind of got on my nerves in those movies.
What do you mean by meta? Just like as in...
Because they got to call out that they were also in a superhero movie or that they were in a franchise. It's not something I really enjoyed in those. Those are the jokes that didn't work for me in that. Because then what makes Deadpool special?
Yeah.
What makes him anything? So the fact that Hugh Jackman is still like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like the entire time. I thought that was the smart way to do that. What did you think about their chemistry in this movie?
I think it balanced it very well, because at the end, Deadpool, to me, he's funny, but he does get annoying sometimes.
Yeah.
But with Wolverine there acting as the like, shut the fuck up, just like stop talking.
Yeah.
Like it definitely eased us, at least for me as like the audience member, just to be able to like get through with Deadpool. Because even with the other two movies, you had like Deadpool 2, you had Cable.
Yeah.
Cable like eased them down. You're like, what are you doing? Type of thing. And in the first Deadpool movie, that's where I felt
he didn't really have
anybody
anyone
there
to like get him to shut up.
Yeah.
But
then again, that's why I feel like that movie was so short too.
It's like an hour 40. Yeah. And this one is the longest one, I believe. And honestly, I was fine with it. I didn't feel the runtime in this at all. There was a joke about the runtime being too long, and I was like, I don't feel that though in this movie. Also, they've made 2.5 hour movies and stuff. This is only like 2 hours and 7 minutes.
I mean, they made that comment of like, was it Deadpool saying like, audiences are willing to stay?
For whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that I didn't anticipate this movie going the way that it goes. I don't know if you felt the same way. I felt like the marketing was really smart about it.
Yes, I think the marketing was great. I love the trailers now. The fact that, I don't know, it's like they showed so much, like in the movie. Like I didn't expect so much from this movie.
Yeah.
And they showed very little in the trailers.
They showed really little, and I think it's funny because you know how there was that whole legal battle about Marvel's not able to tamper with their footage anymore like they used to. You know how they used to just like straight up show stuff that like or cut stuff out of scenes. They're not allowed to do that anymore because it was like some court case that happened where somebody sued them because they didn't get what they wanted in the footage. So I noticed that they still show everything, but they'll like cut around some of the stuff. Like there's a scene where that's directly in the trailer, and Chris Evans, Johnny Storm, is like right there.
Yeah. I thought that was Captain America, like genuinely Captain America. And so the moment he just goes flame on, I was like, whoa, what the heck?
People were very energetic when we saw this. Everybody was like having a really great time. And I don't want to make this sound like it's just for the cameos. This was not The Flash. I felt like there was a genuine emotional crux to this movie.
Or like they were used for a reason. Because like with The Flash, it was just, once they showed the cameo, you were like stopped. Like the story of the movie, like itself, just stopped just for you to visually look at the cameos.
And it looked ugly, and there was nothing to it. They didn't contribute anything to the story at all. But here, they're like straight up in the movie. I wouldn't even count Gambit as like a cameo. Once they show up in the third act, they were just there.
Yeah, they're just fighting for what they like truly believed in, like as heroes. Like,
and that they want an ending
over and over again. I want an ending.
But one thing I really liked about this is I told you that...
You told me?
When we were walking around earlier. I think that Hugh Jackman... We need to clarify something. We are not the biggest Ryan Reynolds fans. We're just...
Yeah, I think he's okay.
Yeah. Outside of Deadpool, I get really tired of his thing. One of our most negative reviews we've ever put out was for Red Notice when we reviewed that.
I forgot about Red Notice. Ugh.
And I can feel when he's on autopilot and he's just like that whole verve and wit that he brings. I think that people mistake that for immediately being funny. It's not immediately funny. You have to have a writer. And this movie went through the whole writer's process, the strikes.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting is something.
This movie's 8.3 out of 10 on IMDb.
Yeah.
What the heck? That's crazy.
I mean, it just came out. I'm sure it'll
But 20,000 reviews.
You know how people review bomb or review upvote things? It happens all the time. But I don't love Ryan Reynolds. And honestly,
I like Ryan.
Who?
Reynolds.
Okay. I mean, as an actor, yes. Like, I think that he would. I wish he went back into more of his. There's an indie movie he's great in as a dramatic actor, and I can't remember what it's about, but it's like about a gambling something.
Adventureland.
That's also a great movie. But
The Proposal.
Did you like that joke?
That was amazing.
Yeah, I thought all the action in this was really great too.
It was good.
Marvel heavily leaned in. This is their first R-rated MCU project, and they don't hold back on that.
No, it definitely didn't feel like MCU was a part of it. It was just like Deadpool's part of the MCU world now, and they were just like, but this is still Deadpool.
Did you get the vibe that this felt more like tributing X-Men above anything else?
A little bit, yes. I think it's just more like past X-Men characters for sure.
Yeah.
Saying like, remember what Fox did and all, and so that's what I got the vibe from, especially at the very end when the credits started playing. They just started like the B-roll,
which I loved. Yeah,
I was like, oh my god.
It felt like they were honestly paying tribute to that, not like removing it or saying, oh, he's better now that he's with us.
Yes.
I thought it was smart to honor the old movies that are good. Some of them are bad, but that whole world was still something.
Which one's my favorite? Top three Fox movies.
Fox movies? Logan,
Days of Future Past.
First Class.
First Class?
Days of Future Past, First Class.
Fuck, I don't know.
But
what's the other ones? I can't even think of the other ones.
Well, I mean, the Wolverine. That's up there.
No, I think I would put First Class.
Well, that's my top three. But
that's my top three.
That's my top three.
Our top three.
Okay. But
dang.
With Hugh Jackman,
yes.
Specifically, what did you think of his role in this?
Great. It's just, he's been playing this role for over 20 years and nothing has changed with him.
And I'm sure I have a feeling that he will still be in this. I think that they have the ability to. I don't know if they're going to do Secret Wars. I thought the whole joke about they're like, we're not doing the multiverses anymore, anymore in this was funny because honestly they just couldn't.
I don't know how they can. Especially when Secret Wars happens too. How do you get all these actors to come back? Especially since they're so much older too, and I'm pretty sure they're like tired of it too.
Oh yeah.
Of course, if it's money is one thing, but
it's the simple fact alone though. Wesley Snipes is in this movie,
dude,
and it's like gone down in film history that he hates Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Because
Blade 3 was a horrendous process for both of them. It is well known that they do not like each other. So when he showed up, I just got confused.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know how they convinced him to be in this unless he...
Money.
Yeah. There was, I mean, with the fan service in this, is there anything you really took issue with in it? Or did you feel like it was all deserved?
I think with the fan service, it was handled very well. It didn't feel forced. It felt genuine. And it never felt like it was... How do I say it? Like, it didn't feel like they were relying on that.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it still felt... To me, it felt like a Deadpool movie.
Yeah.
Deadpool and Wolverine for sure. And it didn't let, like, this whole multiverse thing take over.
Yeah.
And made it feel like that otherwise.
Well, no, because I think that if they could have easily steered off into just doing that over and over.
Yeah.
I think that
I thought they were going to do that in the very beginning. Whenever
really?
Deadpool was going to find like different variants of Wolverine.
Oh,
I thought they were going to do that. Or I thought he was going to be doing that for a while. But I'm glad that it was just like a very like small montage.
No, we were even talking before. They've been working on this movie for years. I feel like it feels structured. Like I feel like genuinely it feels thought out. The 3-act structure is all there. Because I know...
They brought back Peter.
Which I like him quite a bit.
Especially in this one, I'm like, I love Peter. Like when I watched the second Deadpool movie, I was like, I really like Peter. He's so funny.
No, I remember people like love him in Deadpool 2, and then Brad Pitt in his like 2 seconds as the invisible guy.
Terry Crews whenever he showed.
Yeah. I like the ability to also be meta stuff was getting on my nerves for a while back, because just calling out tropes and then doing them anyway irritates me, because that's an argument I constantly had about the first Deadpool movie, where people are like, it's the best superhero movie because it makes fun of all the other ones. I'm like, I'm sorry, but like if you remove the jokes from that, it is still the same kind of movie.
Yeah.
And it's so weird looking back on it that like TJ Miller and Gina Carano were in that.
Who?
But Gina Carano, that like...
Oh my gosh, I forgot about her, dang.
From The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And who's on like TV originals on some weird like...
Oh, it's like that NRA channel.
Yeah. But something that I thought made this movie... I thought this movie was great. Like, I loved it a lot. And full clarity, though, we are biased towards the MCU.
Yeah, I do love the MCU.
I do too. But we're not above criticizing it. I thought the issues with the Marvels where it felt like things were just straight up cut out of it.
Yes.
And I do like that. Yeah, and I do like that movie. And one that I went easy on it, but I think it's my least favorite MCU movie, is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Oh, Quantumania?
Yeah. I think it's worse than like Iron Man 2 and Incredible Hulk, and
I have to see those. I have to see all these movies again.
Those are movies I like, honestly. Yeah. There were a million Easter eggs in this, by the way. The suitcase was in Happy's
suitcase. Oh,
the Iron Man 2 suitcase.
Yeah, there were so many. I don't know. It's looking back at everything too. It's weird to see like the first like Avengers Assemble scene.
Yeah.
Over and over again that they always show. They don't show anything
else.
Else.
Even within the context of the movies, because even Endgame's like, you know what, we got to go back to, right?
Yeah.
And then, I love that what this was able to do was also be like Deadpool be a fan of the MCU, and then the whole joke with the TVA, because I love Loki. I think Loki season 2 was incredible.
I still haven't seen it.
It's really great.
Yeah.
And
I do like the fact that you don't have. It didn't feel like you had to watch Loki season 2 or just Loki in general, just to understand about the TVA. Like I think it was they brought up like the TVA themselves and like what they do nicely. And, like, that's all you need to know. Like, they just take care of the timeline, and that's it.
No, and my one flaw with Loki was that sometimes it gets too exposition heavy, which they call out in this movie.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool that they were able to do that. He's like, all this talking, and then, like...
I'm tired of it.
Yeah. I thought, balancing Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, I thought what made this special about Hugh Jackman is because that's a touchy thing to do, is to bring him back. And, like... We can be honest with ourselves. He sort of repeats an arc he's done before.
Yeah.
Wolverine is pulled by someone, and then he goes, "I'm no hero," and then he's like,
becomes a hero.
I think I am a hero.
I think I am a hero.
But he plays this role so well.
He's just a great actor. He needs to win an Oscar.
And honestly, every time it cuts to just him, because there are scenes dedicated to just him where Ryan Reynolds isn't there, it brings this real emotional weight because he can just sell that. And that
scene between him and Daphne King
at
the fire, it just straight back up to like Logan again.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, I love this so much.
No, and obviously people in like that made this love Logan because they put them back in a forest and like
and at the very end where they're like sitting together at the table talking, you're like, why is this so good?
And that like brings a tear to your eye, honestly.
Yeah.
But I thought that she was great in this. If we're gonna go over, let's put a damper on things for a second, Erwin. Do you have any flaws with this movie?
Shoot. I mean, besides like some jokes didn't work on me, but that's like most comedies. Like most comedies to me, I feel like what you said, like 10 jokes would work, then like 1 or 2 we just would not.
Which is fine because I haven't seen a comedy like this in so long, and I'm just happy that it's like hilarious. I busted out laughing like if I were to count straight up above like a dozen times. And I can't even remember which joke made me laugh like the hardest, but I remember there was one that, you know how like sometimes you find one joke funnier than everyone else, and then you're just like, it's not that funny. I'm like,
oh my god, which one was mine? Which one did I laugh out loud on? I forgot. There was one where Deadpool said something. Oh man, I don't know. I just remember going like, bah!
One
like,
other,
like that.
yeah. One other thing about this is I'm glad that there's been so much time between the last Deadpool and this one, because I feel like if we would have had 4 by now, I would have been like over this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad an actual plot point is that his girlfriend Marina Baccarin is over it.
Yeah.
In that, like, what I liked that this movie was able to do was address the things that might bother people.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, one of them is that I think he gets a genuine actual emotional arc, and I like that. I like this idea that people are like over his thing in this universe, or like, you need to like figure yourself out.
Like, what do you want to do?
Yeah. And the whole thing about joining the Avengers, and I like that there was just an actual arc for him to go through in this. And he still retains his sense of humor and everything. And I also like that the characters are able to call him out so much on it. They're like, you gotta stop talking sometimes.
Yeah.
And
I like how they gave us 2 different Earths, right? Like Earth 616, like in the MCU.
Right.
And then Earth, like, was like 1013 or something.
Oh, yeah,
he's in, and that's our Deadpool that we're watching.
The Fox universe?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they gave them the option of, do you want to go to 616 or...
Oh, like the sacred
here?
timeline?
Yeah, the sacred timeline. So that was kind of cool. I like that. I like the idea of knowing that even if there's a chance, like, he may not work out here, there's still, like, these other possibilities.
Is he gonna go somewhere else? Yeah. I do want to know, like, where they're heading with the X-Men, but for now, I'm grateful that this movie alone's not a setup movie. It's very much... I mean, you would have to see, I would say, a few movies to understand full knowledge of it. Like, if you saw Elektra show up, you'd be like...
Who's Elektra?
Like, Jennifer Garner? Why is she in this movie? And
dude, the meta jokes is so good. Oh, like, just like, whenever it's like, Daredevil died, and he goes, I'm like, damn.
You're like, because they're divorced.
They don't like each other.
Yeah, I learned that Ben Affleck cheated on like 2 of his, including Jennifer Garner, with their nanny.
Damn, what's people that are nannies?
I don't know. That's like
don't
a whole...
hire nannies.
I just know that
or just be a good person.
I was gonna say, like, well, what do you mean? Like,
never mind.
Oh no, I'm gonna hire a nanny, and then like,
it's like I'm not gonna say it. That's terrible. That's just terrible. Don't do anything bad.
I think my flaws with this are outside of the jokes, because that's just comedy, like you said, so I'll excuse that. It's not like that big a deal. I wish, and I know she's not like in it enough, more of Daphne Keane maybe, because she's in...
I think she was in it enough to say, because like I think the scene, like her, or like I wish they showed the scene of her saying it to Logan, where it's like, you're always the wrong guy until you weren't. But like, at least she said the line. Yeah. And I think that was very powerful for her character. At least to show like how much growth she's had ever since like Logan has happened, or the movie Logan.
I think it's because that I'm like, okay, if this is the same one from Logan, I would like to see what this character has been up to since that. But outside of that, I think the action's great. Like, they very obviously were like, we need to make this as violent as possible. That way no one can claim that we didn't avoid our R rating. And they went above and beyond, that's for sure. I thought the introduction was hilarious. I didn't know if it was supposed to be a parody of, like, the Guardians movies. Yeah. But it made me want to learn that dance, and I'm sure that that'll be a TikTok trend. I'm calling it right now. I bet anything.
Dang, we better hop on it then.
Yeah, I mean, if we learn the Backstreet Boys, right?
No, it's
NSYNC. NSYNC, yeah.
It's gonna be me.
And
they don't sound like that. They sound better, guys. Just
like Polar Express kid.
Oh my god, yes.
But no, I mean, outside of that, do you have any other flaws with it?
Shoot. No, I'm kind of glad they didn't have like an actual after credit scene, like setting up something else. Oh yeah. Like in like most type of movies, they didn't really do that. So.
I think the MCU going forward is going to be like one at a time, guys, until we can
basically
figure out
which I like that.
What story we're even telling.
Yeah.
I thought it's funny. I felt like this movie kind of had 2 third act setups because it was like, here's everything with the weird like knockoff Avengers.
Oh yes.
And then it was like, what if we bring in every single Deadpool from every universe?
Yeah, that was cool to see all the like different variants of Deadpool. Yeah. That one woman that was excited to hear Blake Lively's voice.
Oh yeah, there was someone next to us that I was like,
that has to be Blake Lively.
But I don't love Blake Lively, so
I mean, she's fine. Like, I like her. Yeah. But I haven't really seen much stuff from her.
I don't think I've seen anything.
Yeah,
she's
I can't.
except for Green Lantern. Yeah. I'm also happy they didn't go down that joke again because he makes them a lot in the first two.
That's true.
Because there are some jokes that are repeated in each of the three, but like I'm happy that they made new jokes in this one. That's another thing that I think that they could have run into.
Yeah.
And what happens with the writer's strike is I think that you're not allowed to improvise lines.
Oh, really?
Because if you improvise lines and you have to get a credit for the writing part of that, which is why I think there's a direct joke about the writer's strike in the birthday scene where he's like, "Are you improving?" And then I think
yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. So I didn't know if that joke was that or if it was just like some weird thing, but I have a different flaw with it, and it's every MCU thing. Well, not every single one. I liked the villain.
Oh yeah, the villain. Damn.
But
I kind of forgot about her. I'm not gonna lie.
Is it Emma Corrin?
Corrin. Let's see. Emma Corrin.
But I like the villain in this. I wish there were more of this person.
That's true. She had, I guess, because like her backstory seems very interesting to me.
Yeah.
Just I don't really know her much, just besides, I guess, what they told me about her in the movie.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was really cool knowing that she is like the twin of Charles Xavier.
And then like they hid that, and then no one ever knew, and that there's a lot of smart plot explanation here that I'm glad that they were able to pull off.
Yeah, and there's just more development towards Wolverine explaining how much like Charles Xavier was meant so highly in X-Men. And,
that's
like,
another thing I loved.
And so it's like he'll love you too.
Yeah.
If you ever had the chance to meet him.
That's just like the type of person he was, and I'm glad that the presence of him is still felt.
Yes.
Because honestly, I thought that he might have maybe shown up.
Yeah.
But it makes sense that he didn't. Because, I mean, while there were a bunch of cameos, this was very focused on just Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. And I'm really glad that Hugh Jackman is in this pretty much from the get-go. Like, the first act is, like, just a bit of setup, and then he's there for the rest of it. Because they could have easily just had, like, all right, we got to wait until, like, the third act.
Henry Cavill as my Wolverine variant.
It'd be funny if he just, I mean, that
probably
means...
my favorite.
Oh, it was, like... above, I thought you meant above Hugh Jackman. I was like, Erwin, he's in this movie for 2
seconds. It was the best moment of my life.
When people are like, he's the best one, you're like, he's not in it.
He's not really in it.
Yeah.
John Krasinski.
When I thought they were setting up Gambit, I was like, this is fucking Taylor Kitsch. Why would I care?
I haven't seen him in forever.
Yeah, like outside of that, and I'm like, I don't like X-Men Origins Wolverine. Like if Blob showed up, I'd be like,
dude, I was thinking Blob was gonna show up. I don't know why.
Probably be like that. I'd be like, haha, remember when? Because this could have easily gone down the road of just here's cameos, and honestly, we probably would have been happy. Let's not lie to ourselves.
I'm not gonna lie,
But I thought that they were tangibly there. Like there was stuff to them in this. Another thing that I liked in this, but I think it's just because I'm a huge Succession fan, and so are you.
Yes.
Was Matthew McFadden.
Of course.
If we're counting him as a villain, he was awesome.
Yeah, he was great. I love his sass in this movie. Yeah. It's so good.
It's very obvious that he was cast in this because of Succession, because he's kind of just playing himself, Tom, but British.
Oh, it's so good.
I thought he was really great in this. Another thing I liked about Cassandra Nova's powers is they're kind of disturbing, like how they work.
That's a finger thing. Oh I don't know. I did not like that whatsoever.
And it's visually kind of gross, and I'm glad that they were able to do that. And I also, of all the X-Men characters to show up in this, Ray Park's Toad was like such a weird one for me.
Why?
Because I don't know why I don't know why I never thought I'd see this character again. Because
mine, Sabretooth.
That was another.
That was so funny. That ended so quickly too.
Yeah, I think that was like the whole joke in the first place. I think it'd been. Would you have liked this more or the same if Liev Schreiber would have shown up?
More, absolutely. I love Liev Schreiber as an actor.
He's so dumb in that movie though. His claws are what, like 2 inches.
Yeah, it's good though. I love his smile though, and I don't know. It's just I like that look of Sabretooth more than I did than the first X-Men movie.
I mean, I remember being like obsessed with the X-Men Origins Wolverine. I saw it way too many times. I remember I had the toy and I was like, I'm Wolverine. And then I also had a Sabretooth toy.
Yeah.
And after that movie, I went to Hollywood Video and I got the X-Men Origins video game, but for the Wii, so not the good version.
Dude, I played that game too.
Yeah.
And then I also played this other X-Men game. I don't remember what it's called.
A lot of people consider the Origins Wolverine game for Xbox amazing.
Yeah, that was
because it basically plays like God of War, is what I've heard.
Oh, that's cool.
And I've heard that if you want to experience the story of that movie but good, just play that.
Oh, wow.
I am super excited for that Wolverine video game that's coming out from Insomniac. Yeah.
I'm excited about that too.
But outside of that, I mean, I can't really say that it's like, I'm not going to excuse Marvel. Be like, Marvel doesn't have great villains all the time.
Movies are back. Movies are back again.
They've been back. You've been saying that, like, you liked Twisters. You love Twisters.
Yeah.
And then
movies are back.
And right before that, we reviewed, Long Legs?
Yeah.
And
then I was
we
like,
both love that. Yeah.
Dang. Well, movies have been back.
Movies have been back.
Yeah, that's true. Ever since Dune.
Yeah. I mean...
What came out before Dune?
Did Challengers come out before Dune?
No, it was out there, wasn't it?
Okay. Yeah, no, that was April, I think.
Okay.
But... we love this a lot. I want to try and make sure we go over everything possible. That way people aren't like, you didn't talk about this.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else happened.
This
about the many Deadpool variants.
This movie's so stuffed with
They said Matthew McConaughey was Cowboy Deadpool.
Oh, yeah, look that up, which I was really surprised by.
Let's see
and to clarify, if we're like talking about how we feel about superhero movies, Logan, like if we ever made a superhero ranked list, that's going like top 5.
Oh, Logan?
In terms of movies, absolutely,
yes. Absolutely.
I also think that Chris Evans.
Absolutely.
Okay, I also think Chris Evans felt not like just a cameo though. He weirdly just is in it for a while.
Yeah, I really thought he was gonna be in the movie.
No, at that point I was like, I guess he's just like gonna be in the rest of this.
Yeah.
And then I love the end credit scene actually, like that.
Him just going off.
Yeah.
I love that too.
It's just interesting because I couldn't tell you any of the jokes I remember being like, I didn't like that off the top of my head. I just remember all the ones that I thought were hilarious.
Yes.
I think the small knife thing was weird. Like,
the baby knife?
Yeah, because I was like, he keeps repeating this, and I like, after a while, I was just like, I think it's just something that he just keeps repeating.
Yeah.
I love Hugh Jackman's energy to be. I liked the joke a lot when he was like, have you ever been tested for ADHD?
And he goes, I'm like, all right.
No, definitely not. No. But overall, I thought this movie...
I thought this said Dwayne Johnson as car salesman.
He was so confused.
I was like, what?
Hey, they made a Black Adam reference in this movie.
When?
He says the Marvel power is about to change. He says this in the TV. Yeah, it's
no, I had to see it again.
I busted out laughing, and I was surprised that you didn't either because I heard that. And I was like, hey, they work together. Black Adam was all right. But
yeah, I was.
So overall, your thoughts on this?
Overall, I enjoyed it. I pretty much love this movie.
Yeah.
I want to see it again.
No, I was joking about this. I was like, hey, we could review this or
watch it again.
Like right now. But what's your score on this?
Shoot. Probably 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5, really?
Yeah, that was really good.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay, so I love this a lot.
Okay.
I have a couple issues with it that are preventing me from perfect movie.
Yeah, I can't give this movie 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Just because I don't think I would watch it again just to see how I feel about it. Just because I know for a fact when it comes to cameos, the first time watching cameos, it's always the best.
Yeah, because you're super surprised, and also awesome. We saw this so early that we got to be surprised.
Yes.
By it, but overall,
yes.
I am giving this a 4.5
Yeah.
out of 5. I love this so much. I thought it was incredible. There were a couple flaws, but I think that the action's great. I think that it's not just about cameos. I think that both Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds get a fair amount to do in terms of character arc and emotion as well. And I love that about it. I think that separates it from those first 2 Deadpool movies.
Yes.
And if you want to claim that the MCU is back, I guess the MCU is back, but I never really felt like it went anywhere.
They're back. Back again.
So, Erwin, we're about done here, I'd like to say.
No, we can go for another 30 minutes.
We probably could, I bet. But
I love the action sequences too.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention that.
What's your favorite one?
Out of all 3 of them?
Yeah.
Shoot. I don't know why. I love Domino's action sequence a lot.
Oh, you're talking about Deadpool 2?
Yeah, I love that one. I don't know why. when
the
I watched
luck thing. That's an
yeah.
that's an awesome power.
Yeah, and it's just the way she was just walking towards and just getting. I don't know. It's just I love that sequence, but I definitely love all the action sequences in the Deadpool and Wolverine.
I thought Zazie Beetz would be in this, but then again, none of the like actual.
Yeah.
Like
Only
the original cast is in it for like 2 seconds and then they separate, which I know some people might like have an issue with, but I'm fine with it. I think this is supposed to be like a bit more of a contained story about just the two main characters.
Yeah.
But Erwin, what are they gonna do?
They're gonna like, comment, and subscribe.
Please do. What did you think of Deadpool and Wolverine?
Put some hate comments down below.
Please don't do that. And
if you guys want to.
Please like, comment, and subscribe on this video. And thank you so much for listening and watching. Up next, we're going to have a review for you of The Acolyte and
The Boys.
The Boys, yes. In the next few days. Give me some time to finish them. And thank you so much, everybody, for listening and watching. We will see you later.